Asian women, you've been had that. Now it's our time.
Asian men and Asian women, we're not on the same team. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hot Pot Boys. David and Andrew here, where we talk about trending topics in the Asian American community. What do we got going on today, David?
Hey, man, we got thousands of comments on TikTok, thousands of comments on Instagram, whether you're talking about neck shark, jackfruit, these things of that nature. We have two comedians, Asian comedians, Korean comedians, beefing over jokes. And the joke originally from Mike Kim Comedy was about how Asian men are becoming more fetishized, and he's happy for that.
Right.
And he's basically like, yeah, Asian men fetishized. We're going to get more eyeballs and gravity on us and more sexual energy. Asian women, you've been had that. Now it's our time. Right. Essentially, that was the joke. I mean, there were some other more humorous references in there to Squid Game and things like that, and how he looks funny. That was funny. And then there was another Korean comedian, Elena from Seattle, who came and said, she took a humorous but also angry approach, basically saying, oh, you're so happy about fetishization, huh? Did you know that fetishization that you are so jealous of leads Asian women to get killed? Right. And this thing and that thing, terrible thing that happens to us, which she was actually logically very right of her.
It's a good point.
Yeah, and then she also made fun of him looking like a doorknob. Funny.
That is a funny visual.
Yeah, his head.
She kind of got him.
His head kind of looks like a doorknob. And then she did end it by taking it maybe even a few more levels higher by saying some.
Yeah, she basically said, Asian men and Asian women, we're not on the same team. We're not. Oh, it's every man for themselves. And she was quoting Jesse from Squid Game. Now, I didn't understand if she was talking to all Asian men versus Asian women, or maybe to Korean men or maybe Asian bros, because there is always this rift between.
Right. Mike Kim Comedy, I don't know. I don't know his stuff, but he seems like a bro.
Yeah, I mean, Asian bro. So there's always this rift on the internet, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, of like Asian bros who want like your typical westernized, masculine, bro-ish things.
You mean versus, like frat bro things?
Versus woke Asian women, essentially. Those are essentially the two sides that kind of go at it on the internet, because, you know, on the internet you can post anything and anybody can respond.
I mean, as far as what Mike Kim Comedy said, I think he made obviously a solid observation that Asian men's, I guess, sexual opacity or gravity or gravitas with women, especially non-Asian women, has been growing significantly in the past 2-3 years due to media, right? Economics.
And this is an insider, like, kind of Asian bro convo that a lot of
Asian
people
bro
have.
Locker room conversation that it's not the first time I've heard it, especially with Eastern European women. Right, specifically Czech Republic. I don't know what that is.
Anybody who can be a fan of Asian faces, whether that's K-pop or
No, I do think the primary advantages in the past few years have been for guys who look like they could be in a K-pop video or like a Kevin Wynn. You know,
those guys have seen the biggest boost. Let's just say that.
So I think what he's referring to is just like a sociological like movement that is happening, you know, in society for sure. Like it's like real. And then obviously it was very Asian bro of him to only consider the upside of fetishization. Obviously the upside of fetishization or sexualization affects men and women differently because men and women are treated so differently in society. Men, typically their power is derived from masculinity, and then sexualization, like combined with that masculinity, is like triples their power, right? Whereas for women, the sexualization could sap them of power within a patriarchal structure.
Yeah, it can lead to objectification and
which
over-sexualization.
Is what Elena was getting
exactly. The truth is there is a downside to fetishization, and sometimes it can take a turn for the worst.
Anyway, back to it. Andrew, do you think that it is true that Asian guys are really happy about getting fetishized? Or do you think that Mike Kim was kind of like overplaying it? Obviously, because he's a comedian.
I don't know what kind of DMs he got, but I personally didn't feel like a huge rush. And I think just in general, since we were kids, yes, we have seen the growth and the desirability and overall the increased opacity for Asian people in general, men and women. So I'm saying like, I guess sort of, but it's not really something that the average Asian guy feels super deeply. Like you wouldn't say that you're in the closest to the blast zone, right, of being affected. And not everybody is.
To the epicenter of the earthquake.
Yeah.
But I do know some guys who look like pretty much like super K-pop like. They're close to the blast zone. They went from being like a nerd who looks like almost like a AIM avatar. Yeah. I see them out with like blonde like Polish girls now.
Tall, skinny Asian dudes with long hair and the turtleneck and the pea coat or sports jacket, you know, blazer. Yeah, those are the people that are getting the biggest boost. Now, I think TikTok is great for sparking ideas and conversations, but it's not the best place to have them. So I encourage people to have this conversation in person with a Asian guy or Asian girl, vice versa. Have this civil conversation with a friend that you trust and just bring it up and just have this conversation. Like, what are Asian guys' role in fighting fetishization? And what is an Asian woman's role in helping Asian men not be emasculated and increasing our opacity and stuff?
What did you think about what Elena said, where she was saying that Asian bro comedians oftentimes play into whiteness or oftentimes throw Asian women underneath the bus?
Yeah, I think she said that. I'm not sure who exactly she's referring to. I'm
sure it's,
I'll tell you this. I think the successful Asian guy comedians, they wouldn't get away with that, so they don't do that. And that's not how you get successful in America as an Asian comedian, is throwing Asian women under the bus. We can name a couple Asian female comedians who got a little clout in the past, like Esther Koo for throwing Asian men under the bus, clearly. I think it's more problematic to throw Asian women under the bus.
I see where she's coming from in the sense that, do you think that as Asian guys rise up the hierarchy from the bottom, let's just say that was the truth
of sociability,
do you think they are going to become more problematic and forget what it was like when they were like having everything problematic happen to them? Like, as Asian men amass more, I guess, social equity. I mean, do you think it's for sure likely for some of them, right?
Yeah, I think some will. In any case, anytime someone rises to power, any group rises to power, some people are going to abuse it.
Yeah, as much as they 100%. Say, I remember what it was like when I was powerless and when I was at the bottom, and I learned from that and I internalized that, and I won't replicate that once they rise up the structure. It's just inevitably not true for everybody. But one thing I've realized, Andrew, after watching so many like deep TikTok debates, it's like the academia discussions are the academia discussions between people with like grad school degrees and PhDs from like Harvard and Yale and Princeton. And like just your average person who may or may not even have gone to college and just like lived life and saw reps that way, that's like TikTok. And then this is like academic papers and Twitterati, blue check mark fighting.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is please have this conversation in person with somebody. I think that's the best way to do it, guys.
A lot of Squid Game references, though.
Squid Game is hot right now.
I will say this. The One Punch Man, he does look like One Punch Man.
And he does look like the younger version of the old man of Squid Game.
Yeah.
Player number 1. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching that in the comments down below. Let us know what you think about this conversation. Let us know if you thought either of what they said was funny. I think
who was more right and who was more wrong, because I think they both made solid points. Maybe the execution could have been better either side, but I don't know, it was like a toss-up. It was a good tie.
Well, that's why it's being talked about, because there's perspective on both sides. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. That is the Hot Pop Boys, and until next time, we out.
Peace.